Hello everyone, today I will take a look at AAVE versus the US dollar. We will take a look at some Elliott wave counts and find out what's next for this coin in here. So if you want to stop your video and take a shot at labeling this, I'm curious what you come up with and how you think this coin in here should be labeled. Well, obviously we've had a pretty good impulse, and I think I have all the data here. And this is a very large move. We've gone from near $25 all the way up to almost 650, if I'm not mistaken. I think the top in AAVE was 668, and we've been dropping since almost all the crypto market. A lot of these altcoins have been in a big bear market, we know. Spring of last year, we are in a big, what it looks to be a big corrective pattern, following a big impulsive pattern. So, what do you think it's likely to happen next in this coin? I already have done the work and placed some labels in here, but go ahead and see what's your best interpretation. And I'm thinking this one from the lows to the highs should be pretty easy, and then this one in here may be a little bit more complex, but using the rules and the guidelines of the Elliott wave principle, there should be a pretty decent way of labeling this without breaking the rules. So let's keep this fairly simple. Again, I'm looking at this as being an impulse. So if it is an impulse, then since there is not a lot of data in here, we can't really place a full impulsive move at a larger degree of trend. So what I would do is I would just label a wave A up in here and a wave B below, and then see what happens next. So this is this is what I have. Wave A terminated at 668, and wave B could still be in progress of unfolding, although we have early signs that this correction here might be near completion. The next count in here, the subdivision. So this, I'm looking at this being a primary count, which means that if this B wave is about to get finished, the next move higher should be a C wave. The C wave can travel anywhere towards 668 one more time, or it can, pass that and just move a little bit higher. It really depends on kind of how this market will decide to unfold in the future. But we're not looking at super long-term projections in here. We're just looking for the next likely move in this market. So let's see how this A wave looks like, and here is the move. So we have an impulsive move here in a wave one, and I think this one can go maybe even a little bit higher up in there. I don't have a problem with that. So wave one, wave two, and then we have a definite third wave type of advance, the sharpest move in this sequence. Then we have a fourth and a fifth, and I think what's going on from this highs to this lows, we have an A, B down in C for the wave W. Then you have a little bit of a messy complex X wave, and then that fails near these kind of B wave highs back in there, and then you drop sharply lower in the next corrective sequence. So let's see kind of how these labels look on a more of an internal structure. So if this is a primary, this is the intermediate trend. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the intermediate in the lower degree sequence, that's WXY. So we go from primary to intermediate. If you can look inside here, you can see that at the minor degree you have a triangle in the fourth wave formation, followed by an impulsive move in this fifth wave through a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This completed the move at 668 in AAVE. Like any correction, usually they start, it could be starting with a zigzag or a flat, and then they become more complex as the time passes on, as the market continues to work itself out. You never really know for sure how long this correction can take and how much can unfold, and a lot of people are not willing to stand through corrections of this magnitude. So once they see an impulsive move being finished, then they get out at the first signs that a larger correction could unfold. So now we're studying what's happening here through this large decline. This corrected more than 90%, almost the drop was about 93%. So we came as low as close to $44 to $45 in AAVE, and we're staging a little bit of an impulse. What I've done in here as well, I have placed a corrective channel where I've connected the top of this wave W in here, the start of the wave W, up to the B wave from the wave Y that touches on the wave X as well, project that from the wave W low, and that gives us kind of the lower boundary of this so-called corrective channel. Here are some of the rest of the subdivisions in here, so you can see how this is a pretty clean, I would say, ABC move. Then you go up here in this complex move. It could be a very simple WXY, so you can do an ABC in here, followed by an X wave. So that would be ABC for a W, down in X, and then maybe another A triangle, B up in C for an X wave. That's how this X wave becomes a double zigzag, a complex move, ABC, X, A, B, C. The next move lower here, it is a leading diagonal in a wave 1, in a wave A, that's forming as a leading diagonal, right? In a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each of the internal legs of this leading diagonal, it is an impulsive move. So it's a contracting variety where the internal legs are also impulses. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. You can go in 2, then again a big impulse, 4, and then another impulse in the wave 5. Then the market pushes back in a B wave towards the 618 retracement of this wave A. That's where we stop, and then we come back down again in a 1, 2, sharp down in 3, back up in 4, and then another move down in 5. So, from the perspective of counting the internal structures in here, we have, I think, a lot of evidence to think that this market could be near its completion at these current levels. Let's take a look at the smaller time frames and see how this move unfolds. So what I would expect now, right, if we're correct in identifying these lows, I would expect the next move in this market to be higher. You would start by pushing towards the middle of this trend line, then towards the top of this channel, and correct lower, and then start to attack to 69, and then maybe back towards 450 and something of this nature. We don't know exactly how long this is going to take. Usually what you can do is, if it's going to end up being as sharp as this leg it was, then it's probably not going to take a lot of time. The C wave could be a little bit more drawn out, right? And it could be a third. I'm not ignoring that probability in there, but I think just to kind of keep it simple for right now, until you actually see a much larger 5-way sequence, you can look at this as just a simple A, B, and then up in C. So let's see how this will will kind of start to unfold. What I want to see from here, I want to see a pretty decent 5-wave move out of here in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I need to kind of start to see this. Obviously, the angle of ascent, it's probably going to be a little bit different. But this would be the first indication right there that the market, it's probably ready to begin trending in this sequence. And then this will create a larger degree, wave 1, followed by a wave 2, 3, 4, and then let's just connect these in there with the wave 5. We will connect that to the wave C, and the software automatically will place it in there. So this is kind of how I would see some type of a C wave developing, let's say, in AAVE. But first of all, we need to see this move out of here start to unfold. Now we only have a possible wave 1, So let's take a look at the 12-hour chart. This is, you know, that small wave one, right? You're looking at this minuet degree in here, and then see if this can start to, actually this is minor right there, and then you're looking at that intermediate. I just updated that. So if you look at the latest leg of the sell-off, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that you can see a 5-wave structure in here, because you can see an impulse up in 2, then this is a pretty sharp drop in 3, then the bigger correction here as part of a 4th wave, and then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in here, right? So, you know, for all intents and purposes, I think this looks like a completed correction. There might be another leg lower. That would be a surprise for me. If that would happen, you know, that would mean that possible this 3rd wave would have to be placed at these lows, and those subdivisions will have to change a little bit, but I think it would look extremely ugly if that's the case. So this structure in here suggests that this move is already done. Going back from a 12-hour, let's say to a you know, to a 6-hour in here. I'll shift it in a second, but you know, you can see in here you have a big impulse, and maybe we're doing a 2nd wave right at the moment. What I usually watch for is I watch for that 618 to provide us with support, and then a projection higher for a 3rd. So let's jump down to a 6-hour. Here is how this looks. I think this wave 1 terminated up in there. Let's go and see. So the 2nd wave should probably stop near current levels at about 55.95, and we should start to initiate you know, a longer advance here for a larger 3rd wave. Can usually travel 3 towards 132 would be an ideal target, anywhere between 94 and 132 for a 3rd wave higher in here. Now you're asking, how is this 2nd wave looks like? Well, let's go and take a look at the smaller time frame, maybe a 2-hour. So you can see in here that I think we have a completed impulse. I'm going to decompose that. So let's do a 1-hour. Why not? See kind of how this looks. So you have here maybe, I think, let's see, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. So it's possible that this is what's happening in there. So you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. This would be kind of the way I would want to label this wave 1, and it's a pretty I think simple and you know, without a lot of arguments, that this is an impulsive move, and whatever happens here, right back from this high to this low, it's highly corrective. So what I usually do in situations like this, again, is I just continue to go and try to place some kind of a channeling in here. You know, if you connect these highs, you know, you might have a little bit of a better, let's see in there, you see how the markets kind of touched the bottom of that channel very nicely in here. So you can go again in a big impulse. This is a B, and then there might be some kind of an ending structure in here. Maybe this still develops a little bit. So you can go in an A, B, and then you know, down in a C wave. I'm always looking, when I talk about B wave, I'm always looking to see, you know, what they can be. Maybe they're a complex correction, maybe they're a triangle, they're a zigzag, some kind of a double zigzag. So there is a few ways where you could you know, start to kind of think about how this B wave is. But I think it's pretty clear that it starts here, and I think it terminates up there. I can't really make a triangle out of this, you know, unless I'm forcing it in an A, B, C, D, and E in here. It's probably ugly, but you know, looking at it from this high, so this is how we're going to go. So let's see, we're going to go through an A, B, and then down in C. Now you can notice in here the C wave, it's also quite corrective in its nature, right? So usually why C waves are motive waves, and that means that they have to have a 5-way sequence, and I have a bunch of overlaps in here which I don't really like. So maybe my next thought would be that either the C wave is not over and it's still going to end up selling lower for a little bit longer, or this is some kind of a complex combination, some kind of a complex correction where this is a wave W, and then that's a wave X, and then this is some kind of a wave Y in here through maybe a leading diagonal here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave A, then up in B, and then a C wave forming right now. I have a problem with this situation because this doesn't look like a wave W, it looks like an impulse. So, between the two, which one I prefer? Maybe the first one, I guess it would be a little bit, better suited. But either way, once we're going to complete this correction in here towards the 618, if we're dropping back below this, let's say 51, I think the chances are that this market could continue to drop lower. That's what I usually look for. Like that 78.6 is pretty much the cutoff, but the count is not invalid until you're actually breaking below this low, which is, right in here, which is 45.6. So again, the structure here is not very clean yet. Maybe it's not complete. Maybe it becomes something, more complex where you're, pushing higher still. You do something like this, you go back up a little bit more, and then, you come again lower, and this structure kind of still unfolds. But it's something to definitely keep an eye on. And the moment that this would break above this level, right, right here, right, that would be a pretty, I think, solid signal that a wave 3 it's already in progress to the upside. So that's kind of what I would watch for. I would also watch a climb back above this level in here, like 69.20, right? That would be kind of the next, the first sign that would tell me that, that this move is about to begin. Also, you can watch another intermediate channel in here, and I'm just kind of talking a little bit smaller time frames. You can look at this kind of channeling right in there and see how this one continues to unfold. You would want to start to break back above that one as well. Let's see if we can just push it up in there. It's, we're kind of hugging the bottom line of it. But this move from here, it still seems that it wants to come lower a little bit more before this is done. So just kind of be patient. There's also, a big zone of support right into these levels. You can see this 55 to, between 50 and 60 almost, I would say, this whole conglomerate of candle support and resistance back in here, which could probably offer something interesting for AAVE moving forward as a support. But again, I think we're coming into some interesting levels for sure. And I'll continue to watch how this develops. If the market starts to push higher above these levels, then I think the next targets to the upside will be 96 and 100. So again, I hope this was helpful. This is the look on the kind of the weekly time frames, right? Just an A, B, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1. Hopefully we can get, a 3, 4, and 5 for the push higher. This is the look on the daily time frames, just to kind of, let me just delete that. Just to kind of show you, the larger picture one more time to close off into this. So we would want to see an impulse of the lows, and one could wait until this move actually happens, right, to be more confident that there is actually, an actual reversal. Some traders like to just look at the smaller time frames and just consider this, the reversal point, because you get a little bit better entries into the move, but you're running the risk of this move continuing lower. So every time you have a 5-way sequence, depending on the time frame that you're looking at, if you're looking at the very small time frames, you're still running the risk of that not being, not being strong enough as it would be part of a larger degree. So for example, if you look at the 2-day chart, the larger degree would be this wave 1. That would have more weight onto the market. If you're dropping down to a, 6-hour chart, now you're only seeing this, right? This little bit of a wave 1, and this could still be maybe some type of an A, B, and up in C for a flat, and you could still push lower. So, there's no really free lunch in this market, but, signals in here are starting to get interesting, and I would definitely watch. I also, employ a little bit of, candlestick analysis in kind of my trading. I'm looking at the weekly structures and see kind of how they look, what kind of piercing structures we have, what kind of a bullish engulfing, what kind of hammers appear in here. I'm also looking at where we are in the relationship with the moving averages, being the 20, the 50, and the 200. This market is still in a big downtrend, so climbing above some of these moving averages increases confidence that we could have a low in place. So combining Elliott wave with a little bit of a different technical analysis, helps complete the overall analysis into this particular coin. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.